This is Delta Launch Control. At this time, we're preparing to detank the Delta II rocket based on our decision to not try a launch today. And here to discuss the situation is Tim Dunn, our NASA launch manager for today's countdown from the Launch Services Program. So, Tim, tell us how we began to gradually lead up to what ultimately came to pass.
Okay, I'll be glad to do that, George. So obviously it's a slight disappointment to the team that we weren't able to launch today, but we understand the factors involved in upper level winds. If I could take a moment, we had a beautiful countdown. Everything on the Delta II rocket was rock solid, and spacecraft had absolutely no issues. I'd like to thank our 30th Space Wing Air Force partners. They had a clean and green range. All range instrumentation was terrific. So had a very nominal countdown as we loaded liquid oxygen on the vehicle. And the one thing that was kind of dogging us through the countdown was those upper level winds. All of our surface level winds near the ground were green. However, we release weather balloons to track the upper level atmospheric conditions for wind speed and wind direction, so we know how to fly through the those regions of maximum dynamic pressure. And unfortunately today, both from a loading on the rocket and a controllability of the rocket, we were in a condition with upper level winds that we just did not have the capability to fly the Delta II safely through the maximum dynamic pressure region of flight. So that's disappointing, but those are our launch rules, and we understand how to handle those. And we did everything we could at the last portion of the countdown to try to manipulate that upper level wind data against a number of different curve fits that we can fly differently through those regimes. And just none of those would accommodate our flight path and trajectory today. So what we've done is we've executed a scrub for today's countdown. We'll detank the rocket, and we're setting up for a 24-hour turnaround. So we'll be at it again tomorrow.
So is the launch window exactly the same as it was today?
The launch window remains exactly the same T0 and the same 3-minute launch window.
All right. So at this point, there is really no troubleshooting for the team to do. It would pretty much just be a standard 24-hour scrub due to upper level winds.
That's absolutely the case. So we have a very professional team, both on the range side, on the spacecraft side, and on the launch vehicle side. Everyone is executing their procedures right now to safe their systems and to set us up for an opportunity. We'll go ahead and roll the mobile service tower back around the rocket. That'll occur sometime around noon local here on the California coast at Vandenberg. And then we will go into our return to operations, where tomorrow evening, or actually later this evening, we'll begin to retract the MST about in the 8:30 to 9 o'clock time frame, and then be back on console about 1 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Well, Tim, thank you very much, and I guess we'll be back again tomorrow and take it again from the top. So
very good. Thank you, George.
Thanks so much, Tim Dunn, our NASA launch manager. So at this point, this is going to conclude our launch coverage for tonight, and we will be back at 4 a.m. on Friday morning Pacific time tomorrow to resume our launch coverage and hopefully toward a successful liftoff of the United Launch Alliance Delta II with NASA's SMAP observatory. This is Delta Launch Control.